Hey Freedom Lovers, this is Dr. Peterson Pierre with America's Frontline Doctors bringing you today's Daily Dose. Definition of regulatory capture. The tendency of regulators to identify with the interests of the industry they're supposed to regulate. This occurs when a public authority charged with regulating an industry in the public interest comes to identify the public interest with the interests of producers in the industry rather than the interests of its customers or the general public. So when did the corporate capture of the FDA begin? Most trace it to 1992, the year Congress passed the Prescription Drug User Fee Act, PDUFA. Under this law, drug companies must pay for FDA reviews of their products. With that stroke of the pen, the FDA was no longer a watchdog. It became a client service agency. Quote, "You don't survive as a senior official at the FDA unless you're pro-industry," end quote, said former FDA official Dr. Thomas Marciniak. That statement is more than an insider's gripe. It's the logical outcome of the PDUFA, which now funds up to 80% of the FDA's drug review budget and nearly half of its total operating budget. In 2022 alone, those user fees totaled nearly $3 billion. In other words, the FDA's paychecks come from the very companies it's supposed to regulate. Studies have shown, as reported by Marina Zhang, quote, 94% of medication not supported by high-quality evidence harms underreported study, end quote. That of 1,567 drugs reviewed during the period of 2008 to 2021, 94% lacked high-quality evidence of their benefits, while harms were, of course, underreported. During the period 1983 to 2018, even before the PDUFA was enacted, the FDA was approving more drugs with less rigorous testing, shortened review periods, and with substantial harms. Even the former chair of the FDA's Opioid Drug Review Committee, Dr. Rayford Brown, has spoken out. Quoted in the article, quote, "Top FDA official blows whistle as agency approves drug 10 times worse than fentanyl, funded by the Department of Defense," end quote, by Matt Agaris at the Free Thought Project, Brown said he lost faith in the FDA's ability to protect the public after more than 25 years of watching it approve increasingly dangerous opioid drugs. Brown accused the agency of serving big pharma interests over public safety and described its loyalty to the drug industry as, quote unquote, potentially criminal. I would have to agree. And it gets worse. Because PDUFA must be renewed every 5 years, the FDA holds closed-door meetings with pharmaceutical executives twice a decade. There, in private, they negotiate what is effectively the regulatory landscape for the next 5 years of American medicine. This isn't oversight, it's collusion. Of course, the FDA's decay didn't begin in 1992. In the 1980s, review periods were already being shortened and scientific standards relaxed, especially amid public panic over the AIDS epidemic. Fear will make you do all kinds of crazy things. But the PDUFA formalized the agency's submission to its new masters. It turned a flawed regulator into a captured one, a watchdog into a lapdog. Even if reformers like RFK Jr. and Dr. Marty Makary managed to purge the FDA of corrupt actors, the deeper problem remains. The agency is still funded by the companies under review. That is textbook conflict of interest. If we're serious about fixing public health in America, the PDUFA must not be reauthorized. Ladies and gentlemen, only the truth will set you free. Stay tuned for the next Daily Dose.